So before you were born, you believed in Muhammad, and then you were corrupted here on earth. So this is why Ibn Abbas says, I was a prophet when Adam was between souls. So Muhammad is a prophet before even Adam was born. And Muhammad's light adorns the throne, the arse of Allah. Sorry, how do you say that? Is that arse? Muhammad's light adorns the arse of Allah. I'll continue. Muhammad's mother said, when Muhammad was born, a light issued out of my vagina that lit the palaces of Syria 1,300 kilometers away. It was controversially reported that significant signs accompanied his birth. 14 galleries of Caesar's palace cracked and rolled down. The Magian sacred fire died down, and churches on Lake Sawa, right, sank down and collapsed. Someone sent me a Skype message, I think. Let me check in case it's someone saying, Lloyd, you're talking too much. Stop, please stop.
No, it's me because I want you to end the video with this.
Okay, fine. And then, so guys, I just wanted you to understand that Muhammad is the light of Allah. Muhammad is the light of the world. Muhammad is the counterfeit Jesus. Muhammad is a deity in Islam. This is what they say. People worshipped Muhammad. Understand?
Right.
It's the arse of Allah. I agree with you. I certainly agree. The arse of Allah. Right. Now, Jesus says in the Bible, I send you as lambs among liars. Okay? Let's see what Islam explains about us. Let's talk a little bit more, and this is the final slide with the last few things. The discussion with the Jews and the Christians concerning their religions and the exposition of their faults and their shortcomings. The Medinan verses sought to invite the Christians and Jews to Islam primarily by exposing the corruption in their books and beliefs, by explaining the true teaching of Moses and Jesus. They can't show us the actual true teaching, right? They can't show us the actual books, right? They don't have them,
Not
but your book's
not
wrong.
even a fragment.
Yep. And the Medinan verses discuss in detail the history of the children of Israel and how Allah dealt with their faithlessness and treachery. The purpose of the stories. One of the primary purposes of these stories is to guide the remnants of the previous nations to the truth. The Christians, for example, are told that Isa preached pure monotheism, and Jews are told to reflect blah blah blah. No other religion even comes close to this concept of Islamic monotheism. Jews and Christians, even Hindus, claim to be monotheistic, but the trinity of the Christians and the paganism and idolatry of the Hindus make it obvious that such a claim is false. The Jews are perhaps closer than many other religions to monotheism, attribute to their God forgetfulness, weariness, and ignorance, amongst other things, and the Jews do not have a firm set of spiritual beliefs. Okay, buddy. Now, not the path of those on whom you are angry, nor those who are astray. Quran 1:7, that's the Fatiha. The Prophet clearly, Muhammad explained that this refers to the Jews and the Christians. He's angry with the Christians. No, he's angry with the Jews, and the Christians are astray. So let me just move this up again. The integrity of the prophets is denied by the Christians and the Jews, who ascribe, amongst other crimes, the crime of murder, incest, and drunkenness to the prophets of Allah, allegations which Islam vehemently denies. That's why Muhammad is perfect. Don't forget, it's a death penalty to claim that Islam and Muhammad are less than perfect. Right? This is what they're teaching. Let's continue. Abdullah ibn Amr found 2 loads of books of the Christians and Jews. These books form the basis of many of his Israeli narrations, basically hadith taken out of the Jewish texts. Right? None of the companions used these narrations as sources of knowledge because the Quran is explicit that the Jews and the Christians tampered with their respective scriptures. They changed the divine revelation. Therefore, it is impossible to be sure which facts they added and which are still intact. Now, let's have a quick look. I'm just going to run through this. You're going to make up your own mind. The prayer of, this is from Ibn Qayyim again, back to that guy. The prayer of the Nazarenes, the Christians, ridicules God. Okay, so our prayers ridicule God. The Christians chose a way of prayer during which the most devoted among them would consider it no great matter if he happens to pass urine dripping on his thighs and legs. Then he would take direction of the east, make the sign of the cross over his face, and worship the crucified deity, starting his prayer by saying blah blah blah. Then he would open a conversation with whomever happens to be sitting beside him in church, and most probably the chat would be about some mundane matters like the price of wine or pork, who won in gambling, what dish he prepared at home, and the like. And then he would even interrupt his prayer to talk about similar things and then urinate in his seat if he can. Compare this to the prayer of the Muslims. 18.
Well, I mean, speaking of urine, I thought that somebody drank one of Muhammad's urine thing, and then he promised him that he would never have a stomach ache again.
Muhammad
As
is
I
pure,
recall,
don't
there's a
forget.
couple of Bukhari hadith that talk about dogs urinating on the Kaaba, and the only thing Muhammad did was just, go over there with a pail of water and just dump it
Yeah.
on.
So, guys, final slide. I'm done. Finally done talking. Good grief, this has gone longer than I wanted. But
It's been interesting though, dude. So it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
so, the finality of the prophet's message. This is from section W 4.0 in the Reliance of the Traveler. This is the final statement on the Islamic belief in terms of Christianity, right? The finality of the prophet's message